sex in the office.
I don't know what any of us are going to do.
An all-new Brothers and Sisters, Sunday, April 19th, 10/9 Central. And if you've missed even a moment, full episodes are available at abc.com.
I'm Rob Jennings. We have breaking news. A car has rammed into some pedestrians in Center City tonight, and a horrible plane crash caught on video in Japan, one of 2 air tragedies. Next.
Not easy being the smartest kid in 2nd grade. I know the answer before the teacher asked the question. So when my mom had some car trouble, it was a no-brainer. I sent her to mattblatt.com. Huge inventory, low prices, no pressure. It's pure genius.
Own Consumer Reports 2008 most reliable car, the Suzuki SX4 Sport, for only $10,999, complete with navigation and dual headrest DVDs. Check out the SX4 Sport at mattblatt.com.
Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program, with Keith Russell, meteorologist Adam Joseph, and Rob Jennings.
Sunday night, the big story in Action News is breaking news. An SUV has jumped the curb in Center City and hit 2 pedestrians. The crash happened about 9:30 at 16th and Walnut, and we're told that a cab hit an SUV, and that SUV was forced onto the curb. The SUV struck a woman and a man in his 50s. The woman suffered a broken leg, and the man was taken to Hahnemann. We're told he had unstable vital signs. Police are questioning both drivers. Now let's switch live. This is a live scene, action cam at 16th and Walnut. Police are still investigating just how this happened, and you can see the SUV there on a tow truck about to be pulled away. That's the one that we're told that hit the 2 pedestrians. Again, a cab hit the SUV in Center City, forced the SUV under the curb into 2 pedestrians. Both have been rushed to the hospital. One, we're told, had unstable vital signs, and we will bring you updates if necessary throughout our newscast. You can also get the latest online at 6abc.com. We are also following 2 developing stories tonight, twin air tragedies in Montana. Up to 17 people, many of them children, on a ski trip are dead after a plane crashed short of a runway. And in Japan, a FedEx cargo plane, buffeted by high winds, bounced, crashed, and burned. 2 deadly air tragedies, a half-world apart, at nearly the same time, too, and both as planes were trying to land. The crash in Montana happened near the airport in Butte. As many as 17 people were on board. Many of them, we're told, are children, and everyone was killed. They were headed to a ski trip. The plane was a single-engine turboprop. It was licensed in Oregon. It had left from California earlier in the day. The plane went down just short, about 500 feet short of a runway, and into a cemetery. The plane was not headed to Butte originally, but the pilot had switched flight plans and was trying to land at Butte. Witnesses who saw this crash rushed to help, but the plane was destroyed on impact. There was nothing they could do. Again, everybody on board was killed in that crash, maybe as many as 17 people, and many of them children. Names and ages haven't been released. Investigators with the National Transportation Safety Board are expected in Butte shortly. The second crash happened at nearly the same time in Tokyo, a half-world away. The FedEx cargo plane was coming in for a landing at Narita International when it began bouncing. You can see the plane just out of control, and then suddenly it slams into the ground there and explodes in a fireball. The pilot and co-pilot were rushed to the hospital, but both died. They are said to be Americans, but their names haven't been released. You can see the flames still burning from the fuselage there. Nobody else was on board that plane. It had come in from China, and there were high winds when this plane crashed. But the investigation into just what went wrong, what caused this, is just starting, of course. Narita Airport is closed to a lot of air traffic tonight. It's one of 2 airports in Tokyo. But again, that incredible and tragic video from Japan. A FedEx cargo plane crashes, explodes into flames, and kills the pilot and co-pilot. Be sure to stay with Action News and 6abc.com for the latest developments on both these crashes. We have pictures and stories online on our front page. And of course, the Action News morning team will have the latest starting at 5 a.m. Now back here, Philadelphia police are still trying to identify the shoplifter who shot a supermarket security guard today. This happened at the Pathmark store at Belmont and Conshohocken State Roads in Winfield Heights. The suspect has been captured on a surveillance camera. There he is. The security guard is lucky to be alive. Action News reporter Lauren Wilson's live at the scene. How is the victim doing tonight, Lauren?
He's in very bad shape, we are told, Rob. Unfortunately, this Pathmark, though, has remained busy all day and all night, despite the shooting that happened here earlier this afternoon.
I've never felt unsafe coming here, and I come here up until the time that they close, into the wee hours of the morning, and I've never felt unsafe.
But there was nothing safe about what happened here around 1 o'clock this afternoon. Police say a security guard known to customers as Leroy spotted a man shopping and pocketing items at the same time.
After he pays for the items, he goes towards the door. Security guard confronts him. I need to talk to you about something. That's where the first struggle ensues. He gets away from the security guard, gets out into this parking lot. Security guard's able to grab him in the parking lot, bring him back inside.
Investigators on the scene know the guard pulled the suspect back inside the store for questioning inside a small security booth. And that's when the worst happened.
And while inside the security room, he's conversing with him about his biographical information, his name, date of birth, and things such as that. When the offender pulls a gun from his rear pocket, fires 3 times, striking the security guard 1 time in the head. The bullet actually went into his head, hit his cranium, and spun around. Another shot hit him in the shoulder.
Watch as this surveillance video shows the gun-toting suspect fleeing from the store, possibly to an awaiting car, leaving behind the injured security guard who was rushed to Temple Hospital by ambulance.
It's terrible. It's an awful thing to have happen. I hate to think that it's a sign of our times, but it's awful.
Mary is a regular shopper here, but with police still looking for the shooter, she was too afraid to say her last name. Police hope witnesses come forward and that once enhanced, this surveillance video will reveal who the shooter is, since he's known to shop at the store before. Meanwhile, people hope Leroy, who is in critical but stable condition, pulls through, especially employees like Saeed Martin, an 18-year-old who says Leroy kept him on the right path.
Because he always tells me to keep my head up, stay in school, do everything positive. So he's like a real special person to me.
Again, the search for the shooter continues. Anyone who thinks they recognize the man on the surveillance tape is asked to contact detectives in the Southwest Division. Live in Winfield Heights, I'm Lauren Wilson, Channel 6 Action News.
Thank you, Lauren. This week, the Obama administration tries to untie another huge and complicated knot that has our economy tied down. Toxic assets. Banks are weighted down with billions in mortgage loans that are worth a fraction of what they were worth initially. Treasury Secretary Geithner will unveil a plan tomorrow to buy as much as $1 trillion worth of the so-called toxic assets. A new government bureaucracy called the Public Investment Corporation will try to entice private investors to join with the government to buy those risky mortgages. The goal is to take them off the bank's hands so the banks can start lending it again. Pennsylvania Governor Rendell says the people who nearly drove AIG to ruin should not be rewarded with bonuses.
In Pennsylvania, up until February, we lost 60,000 jobs. In February, we lost 43,000 jobs. What do we say to those people? That these individuals got bonuses, and It's not AIG's money. If it was AIG's money, they can do anything they want. It was our money.
The White House said today that Congress, using tax law to get back the $165 million in bonuses, is, quote, a dangerous way to go. Some in Congress want to tax the bonuses at 90% to get the money back. Others are urging restraint, hoping the insurance executives will voluntarily return the bonuses. Republican New Hampshire Senator Judd Gregg agreed that taxing them would be an abuse of authority. He is more concerned about President Obama's $3.6 trillion budget. Gregg says that's going to bankrupt the country, that nobody will buy our debt anymore, T-bills or bonds, and that our dollar will become devalued. President Obama will announce a new plan for fighting in Afghanistan this week. He said in an interview tonight that a comprehensive strategy, including an exit plan, is key to America's #1 mission of preventing an attack on the U.S. Obama says Afghanistan will be, quote, a tough nut to crack, more difficult than Iraq. The new strategy may include new garrisons across the rugged countryside to better contain the Taliban. The president said his toughest decision so far has been sending 17,000 young Americans to Afghanistan. Back here, one Bucks County soldier is enjoying his first night back at home with his family.